So you've heard the news about the boat and you've seen the different theories that people have put out there about how this happened and what it all means. You've probably seen Andrew Tate and his tweet saying that the boat was taken over by a remote. This was some kind of terrorist attack or something like that. You've probably heard people saying that the boat was commandeered electronically. You might have heard the fakeologist.com perspective, which is that this is a fake event and the footage might be CGI. Who knows what theories you've heard. In this short video, I'm going to explain to you why I believe this event is much bigger than any regular baby hoax, as I sometimes call them. Oh, there it goes, down she goes, bang. I'm going to explain to you why I think this event is so important. And I'm going to provide links in the show notes below for you to go and check out things in more detail. If you're short of time, I just finished publishing my 3-hour analysis. This took 2 days of research and preparation, 3 hours of recording, and then 10 hours of editing to get this done. And I'm very proud of it, very happy with it, where I look into the synchromysticism behind this bridge, this boat into the bridge event. And I go into way more detail there than I can in this short video. Of course, like I said, it did take a lot of effort to put this together, which is why it's only available to people who support johnlebon.com. If you're not one of those people and you'd like to hear more about my synchromystic ideas, this is a 3-hour podcast, which I published a couple of weeks ago, which explains the method behind the madness that is my synchromystic take. And it is that synchromystic take. And I know how silly it sounds, synchromysticism. I know it's not a very popular term, and I understand that, but that is what it's called. And once you understand the method behind the madness, you'll see why I can sit here and say that it looks as though I predicted this boat into bridge event, which I didn't, by the way. I'm not saying that I predicted it. But if you look at what I said and did in the hours before the event, it looks as though I predicted this, which I didn't. It's very crazy stuff. So either go and check out this member piece that's waiting for you right now, or go and check out this piece that's available publicly. Both of them go into this idea of synchromysticism in much more detail. Now, I'm sure you've heard that the boat was called Dali, and it was named after an artist named Dali. And that artist once painted a piece called The Broken Bridge and the Dream. I'm sure you've heard this already. I'm sure you've also heard that the same artist is the guy behind this painting, The Persistence of Memory. So I'm not telling you anything that you haven't already heard. What I want to look at now is this video about a simulation of the boat going into the bridge. This is a news story from WRAL, and they talk about simulating this boat going into this bridge. Of course, it's called the Key Bridge. So the Dali, the surrealist artist who once painted about broken bridges and dreams and the persistence of memory, the melting clocks, to hear people saying how it feels as though time's going much faster. A lot of people say this, and I used to dismiss those people. But lately I'm thinking to myself, man, where is the time going? Anyway, the guy behind the melting clocks and the broken bridge and the dream, that painter, this boat was named after him. And so let's take a look at this news story about a simulation is what they're talking about. Goodness gracious me, let's take a look at this.
We're on a cargo ship about the same size as the Dali, but we are navigating San Francisco Harbor in this case. This is all a simulation, but we have a real captain, Captain Morgan
Miguel Marquez. What was the name of the first victim, the first identified victim of this event? What was his name, do you know? What was his name? If you know the name of the guy, you might see why I find this interesting, that the reporter talking about the simulation is named Miguel Marquez. And of course, it wasn't a full moon when this boat went into the bridge. The full moon was a few hours earlier. But the moon was still very foolish when this happened. What was the name of that guy? Was it Luna? Was it a lunar man who was the first victim? I'm not sure. Let's take a look at this simulation.
So we are on a cargo ship about the same size as the Dali, but we are navigating San Francisco Harbor in this case. This is all a simulation, but we have a real captain, Captain Morgan McManus.
This is all a simulation. Of course it is. They're simulating the boat going into the bridge.
Who is going to walk us through possibly what could have happened in a total blackout situation, as you call it, aboard the Dolly.
Yes, so we have a cadet simulating the mate on watch. We have another cadet on the helm. Go left 15, please.
And the Dolly would have lost both propulsion and steering?
At a full blackout, they would have lost everything.
Full blackout,
Yes.
you call it?
Right, so we could run the blackout right now from the control room.
Morgan McManus.
The alarms will
Triple
start
M.
going off
So
on the
you're
bridge.
setting alarms.
Uh-oh,
Start
there's
getting
an
alarms.
alarm.
The mate on watch is going to try to figure out what
Uh-oh,
the
boys,
alarm
we're in
is.
big trouble here.
The engine room is now calling to tell us what's going on.
Bridge, mate on watch.
Yeah, bro, it's me down in the engine room, mate. We got some big problems down here, mate. We've got no power, mate. The engine's fucked and everyone's asleep. I don't know what to do, mate.
And in this situation where you can see the pylon coming and you know it is disaster, can you drop the anchor? What are the, you guys trained for?
Well, we can drop the anchor, but what's that going to do? What's that? This is a massive vessel. It weighs all kinds of tons, all right? And it's the momentum, the inertia. Dropping a couple of anchors, we can do that. We can do that just so we can say we did something. I mean, we spoke to the guy down in the engine room, and he was panicking. He was like, mate, we fucking... It's a blackout, can't even... Trying to fix this engine, we can't even see, mate. We've got all kinds of... We're jumping. We're jumping off the boat. You should too, skipper.
These scenarios?
Right. You're gonna try to do everything you can to stop from hitting it, whether it's running the engine full astern to take the speed off. We've already come down to almost stopped on the water now. And
Bang.
then we'd be letting the anchors out. If we couldn't get the speed off the vessel, you can lower both anchors down and have them drag or kedge along the bottom to create resistance to slow the ship down.
Well, gee, sounds like such a simple solution. So why didn't they do that?
But for that to work, you need time and you need distance.
Ah, that's the problem. So the dropping the anchors, that could help you to slow down, but for that to work, you need time, which they didn't have, and distance, which they didn't have. So the anchors won't be... I mean, you can still try. You can still call the boys in the anchor room. Hey, boys, the engine room, they're no good. So we need you in the anchor room to do us... We need you to do us a solid here. And the guys in the anchor room are like, mate, we got even more trouble in the engine room, boys. Mate, we fucking can't see and shit.
The captain's going to be dealing with the engine room and getting on the phone and figuring out what's going on. So they would be going over.
Can you imagine that conversation? Calling up the boys in the engine room. Yeah, boys, like all jokes aside, fellas, you understand this. You're meant to be working right now. We're meant to be professionals, and we have no power. So, what can you... I'm the captain of this ship, and I need you to explain to me right now what is going on down there. Yeah, mate, we fucking
grab
Engine
it.
room
Right.
would be the... I think that's where the real chaos
That's
would
where the
be.
real chaos is.
Yeah, you'd think that might be where some of the chaos might have been, if this story happened the way that we're told. Which I'm not making any claims in the affirmative or in the negative. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I know that my crazy truth uncle Ab, the fakeologist, he's saying that it didn't happen and the footage is CGI. I understand that. You guys know I have a lot of respect for my crazy truth uncle Ab, the fakeologist. I know that Andrew Tate is saying that it did happen because it was remote controlled by the evil outsiders or maybe even enemies within the state. Okay, I know there's lots of theories going around. I wasn't there, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Obviously my heart goes out to the families. That part, I think, I don't even need to say that, but in case there's any confusion, my heart goes out to the families of anybody affected by this disaster or any other 100% real disaster.
So now if they call back and say we have power, the first thing we're going to do is
Yeah, mate, we got some good news. We got the power back on, so you can steer the ship away from the bridge.
then go emergency full astern to try to stop
Because
what's
it looks
happening.
like they do establish power just
Right.
before they hit the pylon,
Yes.
before they hit the
Right.
bridge.
Billow of smoke comes out. They start trying to go astern, get the speed off.
This must have been high anxiety at this point on the bridge.
Man, this reporter, you can tell he's done his research. He's really thought through the whole situation. Chaos in the engine room, and this is where you're all panicking, and who knows what's going on.
Start trying to go astern, get the speed off.
This must have been high anxiety at this point
High
on the bridge,
anxiety?
trying to deal with this.
Oh, and incredibly stressful. Watching that first video clip, when I saw the total power go out on the ship, I knew there was a major problem going on.
Wow, this guy. So this is expertise at its finest. When this captain, this simulated captain, saw that the power had gone out, he was like, nah, that's trouble. I've been in this industry for 20 years, and let me tell you something. When a boat goes completely black, when there's no light anymore, when there's no energy, that's trouble, okay? Trust me, I've been in this game for a long time, and I know a few things about the boating industry. And when the boat loses power, that's trouble right there. A lot of non-experts wouldn't know this. A lot of amateur boat people, they don't understand this industry like I do. But let me tell you something. When a boat this big is headed towards a bridge and it loses power, that's trouble, okay?
So one other thing we wanted to show you was what it would look like at night. We shot the simulation during the day so we could see everything, but this is much more what it would have looked like for the Dolly in Baltimore Harbor. It complicates things at night.
How do you like that? When you're in a stressful situation and the engine room, you're trying to speak to them and all you can hear is steam pipes bursting and stuff. And they're like, mate, Captain, mate, we're fucking abandoning ship. Right? And you're in a panicked situation. And then what happens in your control room, in your helm? It's all red light. Who thought it? Who designed this? Whose idea was it? Hey, can you imagine this? They're sitting around designing the ship. Okay, before it gets built, someone's sitting there designing it. And they're thinking to themselves, what should we do? What should happen in the control room or the helm, whatever it's called, if there's a big disaster? What should we do? I know. We will make it so there's red light everywhere. That's going to really help people calm down in a nervous situation.
I take it.
It does. You have, you need the bridge
You know
dark.
what you need? They need sirens. They need sirens going like, "Mrr, mrr." They need sirens going off as loud as possible, preferably. Lots of red light. That's exactly what you need.
So you can see the lights outside, but you also have ambient light from the skyline
Danger.
or the terminal coming
Danger.
in. It also,
Alert.
In darkness,
Danger.
you lose some depth perception, which makes it a little challenging to actually judge your distances as well. So it complicates moving around the bridge at night.
And this is, you teach at State University, New York, Maritime College. I take it what happened in Baltimore Harbor will be studied for decades.
It will. It'll become one of those tragic accidents that we take lessons learned from, and then we apply them to what we're teaching the students of what to do in an emergency on the bridge of a ship.
What to do in an emergency on the bridge. That's what they call it, the bridge. Not the helm, the bridge, of course. Okay, so this is in the year 2035, okay, and there's students being taught how to navigate these boats, and there's the lesson from the great disaster of 2024. Remember, in a disaster, if all the power is lost, you can drop the anchors. If you want, speak to the people in the engine room. They might not be much use to you because they're kind of what led to this problem in the first place. Yeah, mate, skipper. Shit, mate. Anyway, so yeah, the simulator, the captain. Like I was saying, if you want to know what I really think about all of this, go and check out Falling Down the Rabbit Hole Part 5. A 3-hour piece took me 2 days to do the research and the prep. 3 hours to record, 10 hours to edit. It's available right now to members of johnlebon.com. If you can't access that, you can access this. This is available publicly. This is a 3-hour piece. This is from before the boat accident, but it's where I talk about sync and why I think it's so important when we try to understand these events. So leave your comments in the comment section below, and I look forward to reading those comments. Go and check those links. Go and see what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to sync. And please do, whatever you do, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Hello there, John. This is Donald J. Trump. I just wanted to let you know your content here on johnlebon.com is just absolutely tremendous. Really, I gotta say, my wife Melania and I have been consuming hours and hours of it. We just love it. We can't get enough of it, frankly.